Hello there, everybody. Welcome to today's Daily Dominion, which is a Allies plunder board. There are a few things going on here. We can look at our landscapes. I guess Shy's on Jeweled Egg. Maybe not the best Shy target of all time. Maelstrom is a trashing event. Can be pretty good. Sort of an attack. Friendly interaction or attack, depending, I guess, on the time that it hits and what you have in hand. But late game, there is some potential for attacking, though. Generally, it's friendly. And then, as it lets them trash a card. And then Crafter's Guild is going to be pretty important here for the opening, because it's let you spend 2 favors to gain a card costing up to 4 onto your deck. So it's going to be pretty valuable here, I think, because it's going to help the AI out a fair bit, because the AI is going to top deck importers and start doing importer stuff pretty quickly. But it's going to help us out because we're going to top deck a cage and we're going to start thinning pretty quickly. Now we do need to do an importer ourselves. So there is a question. There's some cool things you can do here. I don't know how much time we'll have to do all of them. Hopefully at least some of them. The draw here is Swamp Shacks, which is a card that draws more when you have more cards in play. And that has some nice synergy with Cage, because Cage just stays out forever until you gain a victory card. So you just leave Cage out, and then, I mean, if you have a couple cages down, then your Swamp Shacks start as regular villages, which is actually a pretty good start for Swamp Shacks, and then goes up from there. And there are some cantrips between Harbor Village and Harbor Village doesn't have anything to hit here, I don't think. But so it probably won't be Harbor Village, but Innkeeper works with Swamp Shacks, and Specialist also works with Swamp Shacks, because I mean, it's just a good action payload helper engine piece / well, maybe not payload, but sort of. But also there's a guy, I guess this isn't a huge deal, but you know, when you play a Specialist and then a Swamp Shacks, the card is in play for both of the Swamp Shacks play, the Specialist isn't. So it draws a little bit more than 2 Swamp Shacks would, though. Potentially not much more. Potentially 1 more card, I guess. And that's only if you're on the multiple of 3 there. But anyway, it's an actual thing. And then there's Sack of Loot for payload, which will give us loots and can be played by Specialists. The loots can be played by Specialists, so that's all good stuff. And then there's Contract, which I don't know if we'll get or not. And then there's this pile. I don't know if we'll get into that or not. But certainly your Voyage turns can do a little bit. I never know how so you right click to inspect here, but if you right click here, it just, oh no, that time it worked. Oh right, the hitbox is just messed up. I forgot. If you go like here, it disappears. Yeah, it just doesn't match the actual spread out cards. If you click right there, it goes away, but if you go a little bit further to the right, you get it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The Voyages can be okay because they're pretty decent with the importers, and I guess if you're just like playing a Sack of Loot or something, that's still a pretty high value play. Not crazy to go for the Voyage, though it doesn't play so well with, like, say, the Swamp Shack stuff. But it plays decently well with like importer and Sack of Loot and potentially Contract. So anyway, I would like an importer. I don't know what order I'm supposed to get this stuff in. That is the question. Maybe you're supposed to get the importers first, and then, well, you can only top deck the cage. You can only top deck 2 things. So you can top deck an importer. Maybe you just top deck the cage. All right, let's top deck the cage. We'll just buy the importer. here. I'm trying to think. And then I think we'll top deck another cage. And then put all this stuff aside. Cage has, we'll see if we get to do it. We can think about only setting aside one of the coppers here so that we have $3. Gonna play our import. It would have actually been pretty cool to have the importer here in this turn to do that, but this is 2 coppers. Let's keep, we're gonna need at least 3 coppers here. Maybe even nice to have another, but and that's a question, whether you just get a jeweled egg and you're playing this small deck, you have it for draw. I have to think about this. So I don't want to go like too hard on this, but I do think I want a pair of importers. We'll get a contract, and then we'll play this, and then we'll buy. Let's see. Let's just take the jeweled egg now. We didn't draw it, which is unfortunate, but just the way it goes. We're going to get to top deck another card, which is nice. We need to get a sack of loot for sure. We're not going to contract that. That doesn't make any sense. I guess we could think about Maelstrom at some point too. But okay. So we get to gain a lot of cards, which is kind of nice. Let's get another contract, I guess. 2, we'll stop at 2. It does give us some gaining, which is kind of nice. And then we can gain, I mean, we could really, you could really slam the, you could really slam the what am I trying to say? I mean, you can rush through these cart piles pretty fast. Maybe we'll get a specialist the next turn. We want to contract the... Can we get up to drawing? Yeah, we can get +2 here. We have the 4. And the other card is just another contract. I think we can just leave it and then contract the Innkeeper. You'll start to see the Swamp Shack stuff is going to be quite powerful. Because we're going to have so much stuff duration. So here we're going to get this sack of loot, and then we're going to gain a specialist off the importer. And we're almost certainly going to be able to play the importer. See how much time. There will be a little bit of a pile out, but I don't think the AI is going to have like province gaining money. Well, now they're getting harbor villages. I don't think that's the play. Let's just do the shy. Gain the specialist. So you can see the first Swamp Shacks play here already does +2 cards, which is cool. And then the question is whether we want to do this Innkeeper how we want to do the innkeeper. Let's actually do 3. Well, this didn't quite work out, unfortunately. Or at least it's a little sad. How many cards will this Swamp Shacks draw? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll draw 3 cards. We can draw one of the loots. I think the safe thing is going to be just playing the contract on the Swamp Shacks. But so we're going to do sack a loot twice. And we get Figurehead and Goat, which are great. I mean, they're pretty good anyway. And then we're here. I don't think we need multiple sacks of loot. I think we just specialist them. So what I'm going to do here now is get another cage and the Swamp Shack. So we're going to try and do something kind of fun with cage, which is, well, we're doing lots of fun things with cage, but we're going to just try and build to what is essentially a cage megaturn, where you set aside quite a bit of payload on the cage. Now we may not have infinite time to do that, so we'll have to see where we're at the piles. But we bought a cage. We don't need another cage this turn, so let's get another specialist, and then let's go ahead and get a Swamp Shacks on top. You know, you could get an innkeeper here. I don't think that would be crazy, but I'm just going to go ahead and prefer the straight lab here. We get a little bit of... We have another specialist down in there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. Okay. And I think we're going to it's going to end up looking pretty similar to last turn. We're getting more of these duration loots though, which also really help the Swamp Shacks. We aren't getting a lot of plus buy loots, though we did get Endless Chalice, so it'll work. So we do have a couple options here. We can either draw a card and not play the contract on something, which is quite honestly probably fine. It would get us either a Figurehead or a Endless Chalice. Let's go ahead and do it. Well, I would rather be on the safe side, actually. So we're going to contract the innkeeper, play the figure. I mean, we're going to draw. We'll be totally fine, but we're going to actually go ahead and blow up this jeweled egg, get another. We get sword, which probably doesn't matter too much, quite honestly, but this won't be much of a cage mega turn just because we can already draw everything with the Swamp Shacks. Sometimes you don't have great draw though, and you can use cage to set aside a lot of payload, and that's pretty fun. And we could still think about doing it here. But we pretty much just want more Swamp Shacks, maybe a cage. We could get another jeweled egg. That could be fun. It might pop up in the hand for us to do shy, and otherwise we can trash it with Prize Goat. Okay, so this is a good thing we did the contract because we've got all this junk here in hand now. The AI is just trucking along on buying out this junk, but who cares? We do get to hit the shy, then we get a Figurehead, and then we get to gain another specialist. We do the innkeeper. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in play. So this specialist, we go specialist Swamp Shacks. That's going to draw us 3 cards of pop, although we may just gain another copy of it. One thing we didn't do a great job of here, I wouldn't say we didn't do a great job of doing the specialist stuff, but let's get our 2 loots, and then I'll just gain a copy of specialist for the moment. We're gonna draw everything here, and then we can specialist one of these. There may be a pile out here on it. Quite honestly, this is a lot of money, and just between hammer. Maybe not this very turn, but certainly pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So what can we do here? I mean, we could hammer. We don't have a huge amount of buy, though. We're going to get quite a bit here from these. Actually, we do have a pretty massive amount of buy. I take it all back. We could do the prize goat on the jeweled egg. We could specialist the prize goat, and then we would get... It's basically between like prize goat or hammer. Hammer, we could get, you know, different things. They only have the one importer down now. We can probably go ahead and buy our... I don't know how much money we have exactly here. We should have one more specialist this turn while accomplishing the same goals. I probably shouldn't have played specialist on this Swamp Shacks. It should have been specialist all the way down. So the hammer can get us a bunch of money. Prize goat could get us a loot that we could play this turn. I would probably just take silvers on the hammer at this point. So that's definitely more money unless the jeweled egg specifically does doubloons. So I guess we'll do that. So now we can, you know, we can set aside Swamp Shack. We can get another thing. It was Sextant, so it didn't really matter. Play all this junk. We can attack the AI, it doesn't matter. We can, I don't know, we probably don't do triple province. We'll do one province. So that's going to flip all of the cage cards. All these cards will just be in our hand at the start of next turn. It is going to make it is going to take the cages out of play for the duration stuff. But we've got figurehead, we got contract, we got 2 endless chalices. So I don't think it's an issue. But if we want to protect against that kind of thing, we can just add more Swamp Shacks or something. It's not a big deal. We can just do that. And then next turn, we'll see exactly how much money we put up. But okay, so they're lowering stuff. We'll just go ahead and let's go ahead and get the figureheads. Get this. We'll get the stuff that'll give us a 3 pile in case we don't happen to make it through here, but we should make it through here, no problem. All right, and I'm going to Innkeeper do the big 5/6 just to see if we can get a few more specialists. And it doesn't matter, we'll just redraw all that super easily once we get going. Already this Swamp Shack's drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at 10. So the next one will do, or is at 3, and then idea here is to have all the specialists in hand so that we can gain them. How many there's still one more. So we do all the specialists and then we do the sack of loot. Or we got double doubloons. So he got $6 just off that. And then we can just play. We still have 4 more specialist plays. So we can play these things for. We'll probably have enough to we can gain copies, but that doesn't actually, I don't think it nets us anything at this point. Different than just playing the thing. So we can get I expect we're going to have just enough to empty the provinces, but in case we don't, I'll do that. I'm not going to count it out, but in case we. Oh yeah, so the Swamp Shacks draws a billion cards. Let's see, what did we end up? Oh yeah, we certainly had enough to do. We could have just taken double estate off the hammer and gotten another point, or maybe silver gets us a duchy buy. I don't know, whatever it is. And we didn't need to take the importer off the start. That could have also been estates or silvers or something. So, all right, that was pretty cool. Nice kingdom, good times. Nice cage stuff, and everything coming together pretty beautifully, if I say so myself. A lot of loot stuff, really nice specialist board, really nice Swamp Shacks board. We ran pretty well. I do think there's maybe a window to change the early trashing stuff to get the. We could have got Sack of Loot to turn earlier if the jeweler, whatever it's called. What is it called? Jeweled Egg. If the Jeweled Egg had not bottom decked that one turn, we would have gotten Swamp. We would have gotten Sack of Loot to turn earlier. I don't know if this changes the turn finish. Maybe it gets us to turn 10. I don't know. AI is doing like a really accelerated gaining thing with importer, which they almost always just rush importers. It's not very good. It is occasionally scary, but here even they're split across a lot of gains of stuff that never matter, like the Harbor Village. So otherwise, really cool specialist board. I guess another thing that maybe could have sped us up is like taking a second Sack of Loot off a specialist. Again, I don't know if that actually buys you an entire turn or anything like that, but those would be the kinds of things to explore if you're trying to speed this up, even though, it ran quite nicely. So, hope you enjoyed it. Very explosive. I don't know, why is this left justified? I don't know. There's some UI changes. I don't really love all of it. There's like some effect on the card sometimes where they're like brighter. I don't like that at all. I don't particularly like the location of this, but it's not a huge deal. In general, the UI has some issues where they put like information that you would typically want to look at the same time very, very far away from one another. So like your discard pile and your deck being on opposite sides of the screen. There's just some weird stuff. Like there's some information up here that you kind of sometimes want to see with information that's here. Like, I don't know, your opponent's tokens while they're making money. It's just not great, but I think it probably will always just be not great. Which is sort of how we're doomed to live with Dominion digital implementations, unfortunately. So anyway, that's this kingdom. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Dominion, and I will catch you all tomorrow.